Well, hello and welcome to another video. Now here I'm going to go over a bit of history, but it's a little bit just to show you how the pieces of the simulation are piecing together one by one, and how Bearable Guy and the other architects, or the architect of this game, have been plugging away for some time to show us how this is all unfolding. So it begins. Now, I know Fojek dismissed this with saying that it's just about the Peter Thiel's floating clouds or floating cities. And of course, I've seen another Ripple in Wales suggested that this is just in relation to the BIS as described in Lodestar 2, if I can find it. But you know what? I think strongly that this is about. Let's see if I can find it. No. Budget. There's Lodestar 2. What I'm going to show you is, yes, it does relate to Lodestar 2 because the bear does explain on the 24th of January. So it begins was posted with the intention of highlighting the talks and rumblings going on around the BIS. And the upcoming meeting that would spell it all out for the world to see. The three mountains with messages couldn't have been more blatant as foretold. Now, it goes on, and absolutely, I mean, there is tons in this, but remember, it's all about riddles. So this one he gives us, right? He tells us, so it begins, is all about the BIS. Absolutely. Can't disagree. However, it's what they don't tell you and what they don't show you that leaves the clues for you to find. Now, in terms of numbers, I'm all about numbers here. Now, I'm going to explain many numbers. I've got 3 threads on this, as to why I think it's all about, mainly about regulations. Okay. So first of all, we see the pyramids, but the pyramids, obviously they're based, the Egyptian, the old world, but they are surrounded by a blue sky. Okay, so let's look up first of all blue sky law. Okay, blue sky law pyramid scheme. A blue sky law. Okay, a state law in the United States that it regulates the offering and sale of securities. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. It's basically to protect the public from fraud. Okay, so the first blue sky law was enacted in Kansas in 1911. So some very strong numberage there. I'm going to leave it there. That explains it all. Blue sky law is what it is. I found it fascinating that pyramid scheme came up in that particular Google search, and that kind of explains a lot. If there is a little bit more about pyramid schemes, perhaps you want to look into it yourself. But anyway, that's basically a massive clue to say that this is going to be about regulations. So let's have a look at the date. Okay, he's got a timestamp in New York of 1724. Okay, and you've got a part of the beginning here, 2-14. So we add the 2 and the 14 together, you get 16. And if you add the timestamp in months and weeks, as I'm showing here, that takes you to the exact day the lawsuit was brought forward. Now, the lawsuit is all about securities, XRP being one, and of course the blue sky law applies to that. If you'd like to know other numeric wonders of this duration, the best one I can show you here, it was 1 day and 23 months from this post to the lawsuit. And that just leaves you to wonder, doesn't it? When does it end? A little bit more about the 3 mountains. If you extend them, I've done this previously on Photoshop, and then measure the angle, they give you a perfect 60 degrees. So we know they are the Giza pyramids. They're meant to be that way because the pyramids of Giza were constructed in a span of 60 years. So what was interesting, I did think that the lawsuit could have been resolved originally on the 24th of August, which was 32 months and 1 day since the lawsuit, 321 backwards. However, instead, all we got was a BRICS announcement to say that they would be continuing some work in January, going forward in January, and then Trump got arrested on the 24th of August. So clearly quite a big day with regard to parts of this simulatory show that they are showing us. And Trump is a massive part of that. So it doesn't surprise me one little bit. Of course, I've mentioned here, could the 2 hearts duration of the one from the calendars, which equate to 1,123 days, be the solution? So let's go into it a bit more. Let's go back. So let's do part 2. First of all, I'm going to show you some things. Here's the 2019 calendar. Apologies for the poor resolution. February the 14th is on that calendar. March the 13th is on that calendar. And here is some excerpts from an article I'm about to show you. February the 14th, Valentine's Day, and March the 14th, a publication from Joe Biden that Joe Biden signed on the 9th of May with regard to an executive order. And the executive order was the 83rd executive order in a line with the sequence number here, 83, on a particular transaction which I'll go into. And the executive order was called 14067. 1467, okay, on the regulatory part here. So this is the pyramids, and this is the executive order number. I don't think there's much of a coincidence happening there. So I'll read it out to you. Here we go. So here we go. This article by this tweet by Bearable Guy. Right here is an article. All you have to do is read it. And this is the article that explains all about the US Congress members to submit a major pro-cryptocurrency bill, which is early support coming from both parties. This is the one that talks about Valentine's Day being when they are going forward with it. And they also talk about the Token Taxonomy Act as well. Okay, I'll let you read that in your own time. It's massive, but it's very, very good. But basically, inside the article, we see how it discussed the bill coming into effect on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. This was the date shown by BG on his calendar. From the article to the executive cryptocurrency order that Biden signed on the 9th of March was 3 years, 1 month, and 20 days apart. Now, that's quite fascinating. 3 years prior to it being signed, the Bearable Guy had already predicted its creation. The executive order was the 83rd order signed. And again, from one of his early tweets, which I'm going to show you here. And this is the transaction that the Bearable Guy posted. It's a payment for $10 billion. Here was the sequence number here, 83, in line with regulatory, the 83rd order signed. I mean, it's incredible how this all goes back and forth. And that transaction was from 2018. So this order wasn't signed until 2022. So we're talking over 4 years. It's just incredible. So the order was published then on the 14th of March, which is Pi 3.14, just 1 day after the 313 heart on BG's 2022 calendar. And as I've mentioned, the duration of the hearts is 1,123 days. So I think that let's carry on anyway. From that transaction to the publication of that order was 3 years, 11 months, and 27 days. 3, 1, 1, 27. Guess who shares those numbers? 3, 1, 1, 27 in reverse. Pretty insane. Also, if you add the 2 plus the 7, you get the 9. You gives you 3, 11, 9, which is literally a reverse of the tragic event that occurred in 2001 with those towers. Anyway, if we go down and look, do you remember the suns on these calendars? I've got them up here somewhere. No, I've closed them now. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the suns on these two calendars, one's in May, one's in August. They are 33 months apart. And if you go from BG's first ever tweet, the one with the transaction that relates to 83, to the lawsuit is exactly 33 months. So here I'll show you again. March 22nd plus 33 months equals the lawsuit. It's all in there. It's quite insane. Here's the transaction again. 15th of March 2018. Okay, moving on. It's pretty clear the riddles have been consistently playing out, wouldn't you agree? So one of my interpretations here, so what does the 10 billion transaction relate to? So as everything else relates to regulations, and it's logical to assume it could have been XRP's market cap in Canadian dollars at the dip in late December 2020, when XRP went down to 17 cents, caused by the lawsuit. But why Canadian? Well, its exchange rate at the time would have closely matched the 10 billion market cap that XRP would have had at that price. And Canada was featured in BG's article as the most pro-crypto country. And here's the quote. For some perspective, just in the first half of this month, January the 1st to the 15th in 2019, cryptocurrency startups raised 160 million. And look at where those funds went. Canadian-based companies brought in a hefty $80 million. The Netherlands, 10 million, and others, etc., with the USA being bottom of the list with an embarrassing 100K. Compared to the Canadian-based 80 million. That's an insane differential there. So that does suggest that Canada was pushing the crypto regulations. I also found that the Token Taxonomy Act of 2021 was established on the 8th of March, which was 2 months and 14 days after the lawsuit. There's the 214 heart once again. Pretty insane. Pretty good evidence of the simulation. And of course, earlier this year, we saw King Charles III of England provide royal assent for the Financial Services and Markets Act for crypto regulations, which are 2 years, 6 months and 7 days after the lawsuit. 6, 7 under the second mountain, of course. So are we getting close to the end? Well, I did think 8/24 could have been that day, but now I'm just sitting at January in 2024. It's quite a simple perspective as to why, really. Obviously, we don't get everything right the first time. So it begins. I published this part 3 the other day. Here's a few more aspects I think you would find interesting to know. So, as stated in the quoted threads, the bear gave us the clues of heart to heart, and duration on those calendars is 1,123 days. We've seen that number over and over again, and it is hugely important in the time frames for when XRP is going to have price rises and other elements. But I believe the duration is the lawsuit, and The end would take us to the 19th of January from the lawsuit if we added 1,123 days. So what else can we find to support this? Well, XRP is accused of being a security and therefore treated as illegal to trade in the US by most exchanges, or at least it has been illegal. I know that some have started relisting, but let's just focus on the fact that there has been it's been illegal through most of this process. And I'm not saying that it's an appeal could be overturned. I'm really bored of the lawsuit and I'm not interested at all, and I don't care about the little aspects, but we know it's going to linger on for whatever it is, whether it's stifling innovation for Ripple and the US. Either way, it's serving a purpose. So let's look at the Bear's Xmas post in 2021. Here he's got some elements. Okay, they overlap. We've got the grapes, we've got a cigar, toasting marshmallows, we've got champagne and an empty bottle, and a rug, a Persian rug. So, what's interesting, Persian rugs, they're featuring a lot of the scenes. They are illegal in the US. So let's continue that theme. If XRP was illegal, and Persian rugs are illegal, and the Persian rug is throughout all of the scenes, or most of the scenes, that could lead us to suggest that there are going to be many issues continuing, because a lot of those scenes haven't played out yet. Cuban cigars are illegal in the US, and grapes and champagne from 1920 to 1933, just after World War I, there was a prohibition on the production, importation, transportation, and sale of alcoholic beverages in the US. A lot of it was linked to the vineyards in Italy. So, I think that the scenes go on well into 2025, but I do think there's a very good high prospect that the lawsuit could end in 2024, around about the 19th, so we can see some progress in 2024 with price. Price before law? Wouldn't that be a nice treat? If I am wrong about all of this, well, it might just suggest that the Bear likes things that are illegal. He likes breaking the law. But that could be for us to find out. And I'm going to add one more thing from my private aspects here. Let me just get it up. I have January law. Let's go across to Discord app. And let's move up. Let's find a fantastic tweet by Sandy Ver, the bearable guy. He showed that Stuart Alderotti, let's show you this one, did somebody drop their security? And he posted this back on the 29th of September 2021. And it looks just like the little orange on the floor in the bearable guy latest scene from the 24th of December. Now, to me, everybody is looking east in this scene. And what I will say is, I think this Stuart Alderotti tweet does translate well. I won't show you why, but I think it translates to January quite well. Now, I think that's fascinating. Dropped lawsuit. Did someone drop their security? So it's interesting, isn't it? What could he possibly mean by that orange? Well, I think it does relate to January. And I've got some other confirmations, but for now I would leave it with regard to that. And I'll go back to Chrome, and I'll just say that bearable guy Xmas scene images. No, we don't want the excess scene. We want the casino. That's not bearable, guy. 1, 2, 3. That'll do. Oh my god. That'll do. So you see, what I find interesting about this is that we have Mr. Progress here. Now he is us. We are at the table playing. There's many caveats to this scene, and you're going to see more coming from me on this video, on many videos coming up. But he could also represent a lawyer, and the reason I say that is because there is an illumination going through him at various points. Now, I believe this could be a lawyer or somebody with the initials of BG. Notice he's wearing a blue and green suit. We have, that is B and G. If you look at those colors solely, he has a brown shirt as well. There's also revealing of other things, but we'll come to that. So it could be that a lawyer brings something to light, maybe a rumor. Maybe there's a rumor that the XRP lawsuit is going to be dropped. And so he's looking. The security's looking, because the knight is the security, but he's now in gold. Interesting. The king is not looking. The architect is not looking. Neither is this little red dude here. But these two guys are looking. So there's quite a few people looking at the rumor of the dropped lawsuit. The long arm of the law is here to ring the bell. And the long arm of the law is missing the little cuff, which of course is the orange test, the Howie test. And they're all looking for the rumor. But it looks like they've already taken their price before law. Perhaps. That's something I guess we'll have to find out. And this is me recording the next day. Just one extra little snippet to go with this video. Here we have at 801XRP, and he's found the definition of a proper party. It's a person or entity who has an interest in the subject matter of a lawsuit and, therefore, can join in the lawsuit or may be brought into the suit by one of the parties to the legal action. A proper party is distinguished from a necessary party who the court will order joined or be brought into the suit. Example. Anyway, I won't go into that. What it's suggesting as a proper party is that perhaps the holders of XRP are going to be brought into the lawsuit. And I believe that John Deaton was somebody who collated all of the XRP holders at one point in time. Now, it doesn't matter that all the little things that you may disagree on, and it doesn't mean this, it doesn't mean that. The fact is, there's something that's going to extend this lawsuit. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. And the proper party that Ripple are having on the 29th of September is showing all the signs to XRP folk that there is further to go. And coincidentally, if we just look at the date from the 29th of September to the date I forecast in this video, it is exactly 3 months and 21 days. And there I'm going to leave it with you on that. The buy, the rumor, sell the news. That is me done. I wish you a lovely evening and a great day. All the very best to you. Take care.